We know that piecemeal ways of divestments and reluctance of inherent difficulties are there with privatization. So fortunately, the government has come out very openly now that this year, the Honorable Finance Minister has made a statement that in the current financial year, they will totally divest in Bharat Petroleum and Concor, and not just privatization. So, here the point is every private entrepreneur, every promoter normally borrows against his equity from NBFCs. It's a big activity for NBFC in the private sector. They pledge their own shares and they get money to reinvest in other projects or in the same company. In the same vein, perhaps the government could pledge its listed PSU shares with the Reserve Bank and till they privatize, and it's an advance against privatization, it's an advance against sales. We are talking of a large amount to unlock because it will be vast resources. Just to give you an example, UTI got into trouble in 1999. Vijay Kelkar was the finance secretary. He called me from Washington. World Bank meetings were going on, and he said, why don't we form a small committee and tell us what we should do? The simple thing that got UTI in trouble was buying government shares. 1999, government started selling 5%, 10% NTPC, Bharat Heavy Electricals, Indian Oil. And they bought 3,300 crores of PSU stock, which had crashed half. And so there was a run on UTI. So we just put those same PSUs into an SPV. Government gave government guaranteed bonds, which UTI sold to meet the repayments. Now those stocks in that SPU over the last many years have recovered and the government has made adequate money. So the point I'm making is government can use its stake in ONGC and Indian Oil, which are large corporations, to raise money. That was the point I was trying to make. Anyway, we move on. Yeah, sorry.
It's a good idea. There is actually a government ETF, right, which holds public sector shares.
Yeah, something new.
Instead of going via the RBI, they can just put all their shares into a bigger ETF. And then as they privatize, basically the ETF, essentially sells those shares into the market. That would work also. And the advantage of that is you don't have to go through the RBI. The ETF itself, at this time of rising prices with, money power in the hands of some of the wealthier people right now, not knowing what to do with it, they could invest in the ETF. So I think there are ways without doing the full formal privatization. Those shares are already traded. There are minority shares that are traded. Put them in the ETF. Let the ETF sell more shares directly to the public. You've raised money. The problem with the privatization is we always announce the privatization, but nothing actually seems to get done. By the end of the year, we say, okay, we've done nothing. Next year, we'll do twice the amount. Then next year, we triple the amount. Nothing actually happens. So unless the bureaucracy is ready to go, it'll always happen. The stock stock market is down, so we can't do it now. And then when the stock market is up, we start the process of trying to get everything into, and by the time we're ready, it's gone down again. So, we'll never privatize unless there's a will. And the will has to come from the top. It has to say, thou shalt be ready. As soon as you're ready, we'll start selling in the market. You can't time the market perfectly, but why aren't we selling now? The market's reaching all-time highs. Why aren't we selling more? So often with well-managed entities, selling shares to the public, to my mind, makes a lot more sense than selling to one large entity, and which creates a whole set of political issues. Who did you sell to? Are they connected to you or not? You remember all the problems that we had in the early 2000s. So I would think in most cases, strengthen the governance and sell the shares to the broader public.